Hello everyone and welcome back to Run It Up number 64. We are here today playing some $1, $2, no limit Texas Hold'em on ultimatepoker.com, and I'm pretty excited about it. We're on a 4-game win streak. If we win in this session, we'll have won the entire week of Run It Up. We would have had done 5 Run It Ups in a week, which that alone I think would be a record that we did 5 in a week. But we would have also had 5 wins in a week, which would be pretty sweet. We'll have to see. Unfortunately, I've got some bad news, and that is that if you look carefully behind me, there is no more Run It Umpkin. Yes, I'm very sorry to say the Run It Umpkin didn't quite make it through the evening last night, and when I woke up this morning, I noticed that there was a little bit of mold on the front of the pumpkin, which is weird because there was no mold the night before. And then when I pulled up the lid, there was like 2 inches of mold. It's like right beneath the vent, which would make sense if not. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And I'm like 90% sure that I checked yesterday and it was totally fine. So I have no idea how it got so moldy so fast, but it is no longer with us, I'm afraid. Hopefully you're not too upset by that. I guess we're not folding against this guy. He could have a 5. He could have obviously have us crushed, but he sometimes has diamond draws, 6-7, ace highs, stuff like that. Can't fold against hands like that. Generally, he just has enough. Ooh, there we go. Little old bink ball there. Just two, not too many. Don't worry. Got kind of lucky there, but I mean, I think it's fine. He's going to have enough random nonsense on an 8-8-5 board. He limped the button and then put the rest in. You know, like I can't suspect he's going to be super strong there. I would not think. So hopefully you're not too depressed over there. You people, my UK fans over there, probably getting all upset, you know. Jay Carver, mate, you're depressing me with all this mopey shite. No, don't be sad. Run It Umpkin will be back, you know? Don't be. That was not so bad of an accent. That was pretty good for a little improv accent, I thought. I'll have to rewatch it before I can really judge, but I felt like it was pretty close. Anyway, so me mates from the UK over there. I'm not sure what region of the UK would have an accent like that, but I feel like, to me, as a boorish American, it seems like it's in the ballpark, you know? Close enough. Defended here with the old 6 and 7 offsuit against Will. I don't really know Will's game too well, besides that he's obviously been very successful at poker, and he has a reputation for being both creative and aggressive, which are, you know, good qualities to have in a poker player. Not going to be bluffing on this board. We're just going to say, all right, 6-7 offsuit's not going to win this one. Unless we river a 7 or something, and then it goes check, check. Over this hand. Maybe he'll be nice enough to check back and take us to showdown, and we can see what he decided to check back with. But, you know, I would guess that he's got something, certainly something better than us. I mean, I guess not certainly, but I'd guess he had something better than 7 high. Hopefully this fella or some other fellas decide to sit in and join us. I suppose we'll open this. I mean, I guess we could consider arguably making it 6 instead of 4. He's making it 6, so I guess we want to play. I mean, it doesn't make a big difference. I'm just not sure what his strategy is, so until we know that, I think we have to kind of decide carefully. I think, I don't know how many tables he's playing. Sometimes he plays a lot of tables. There aren't really that many tables running. Or are there? Actually, there are kind of a lot of tables running. I think he's not that many tables, though. I mean, not many for him. He's at like 8 tables. I think for Will, that's not that many. Oh, how could I forget? Today was one of the coolest things. I shared one of the coolest things I've ever had to share on Facebook. We'll go through it after this hand because it's, you know, too cool to be, you know, multi-tabled. So Will check called on flop here. He could have a 7, he could have an 8. Unless he has a hand like 8-9 or something better than that, it's kind of a scary turn card, right? So I think we're going to bet and then maybe bet again. If he's 8 tabling, he's probably going to play a little bit more fit or fold. Maybe against somebody that was just 1 tabling, I'd be a little bit more hesitant to fire twice here. But I think that's going to work often enough. Looks like Will decides to check raise here. He could definitely be light. It's certainly possible, but you know, I think that he likely has something more likely than not. Like I said, he is very creative and aggressive, which means that he can bluff, although he wasn't bluffing there. It's kind of a bizarre check raise for him to check raise with that exact hand because, you know, he has a pair and a gut shot, and I don't think better will ever fold, and worse does not usually call. All right. He shows us the best hand and then says, peace. All right, let's go find another game. I guess before we go find another game, we can take our time now and enjoy the amazing sheriff picture that we did to celebrate Halloween. If you want to see this for yourself, by the way, hop over facebook.com/jcarverpoker. I posted it there. Can I just pull this over? Is that how that's going to work? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Here it comes, boys and girls. How cool is that? Look at that, our little sheriff over there. I don't know if I can full screen it. All right, let's see if I can wizardry this for a second. And we go this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then up. Nice. Look at that. Look at that. That's such an amazing picture. How is that not an amazing picture? How is that not an amazing picture? Look at that. Let's do some detail looks because, you know, details. Oh, all right. I got too excited. I'm sorry. Look at that. Look at the Toshiba drill. I don't know why it's messing up the line there. I don't know what. Oh, it's Spotify. Sorry. Get out of here, Spotify. Look at the Toshiba drill. There's tally marks on it. Drill it on the collar of the drill. That's amazing. I'm pretty sure he has a little like horseshoe in his eye. How great is that? He's got himself some suits on the sheriff badge. That's pretty sweet. You know, how can you beat it? What a cool, and of course, look at that. Look at that little get in the cage. That's right. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy about that either. Pretty sweet pictures. So if you want to check that out for yourself, head over to facebook.com/jcarverpoker and you can enjoy the coolest picture that I've ever been sent on the internet. For sure this time. Let's go find ourselves a poker game. All right, so not quite what I had in mind for the next poker game. I'm pretty sure when you guys said, "Oh, okay," you'll never have expected to see that we're playing this of all things. I actually have a little soft spot in my heart for Omaha 8 or better, and for some reason there's a 2-4 limit Omaha 8 or better game going. So we're definitely almost actually like over bankrolled for this, which is weird because we've been under bankrolled for almost every single session we've ever played. But we're actually under bankrolled for this, so or over bankrolled, I should say. So I think that it could be fun. You know, we'll play some 08, talk about some 08 strategy. I actually feel like I'm relatively able to construct words that make sense when it comes to Omaha 8 or better. So let's see how that works out for us. It's a really fun game, and we're playing nine-handed, so we'll have plenty of time for questions, side rants, things like that. And I'm kind of in that mood, so hopefully you are as well. It's Friday. Come on, relax. Have yourself your intoxicating beverage of choice, or maybe it's not a beverage. Yeah, that's right. And go from there. You know, we're equal opportunity intoxicants here. I don't like to drink. I'm not a fan of drinking at all, actually. You know, I don't mind if you are. You know, whatever you want to do. Make yourself happy. So one thing that makes Omaha 8 or better a little bit different than like Hold'em, say, for example, is that you can actually limp very reasonably. There's, very reasonable hands that you can limp that are totally fine. You typically want to play hands that can win the high and the low. You don't want to play usually hands that can only win, you know, like one or the other. Like this is one of those hands that can never win the low, right? Because we're going to have to play with 2 cards from our hand and 3 from the board. No matter what happens, we have to play with exactly 2 cards from our hand and exactly 3 cards from the board. So no matter what happens, we'll never make 5 cards lower than an 8 because we didn't start with 2 lower than an 8, right? That's pretty simple. So, you know, this hand is still decent because we have a nut suit and jacks are okay, but certainly not too good. Hands in PLO, hands in 08 that have cards that are 9, 10, jack in them typically tend to be not that good because of the fact that they are, they're cards that can only win the high, and when you do usually win with them, there's usually a low available, right? Because a hand like Jack 10 has some Like a hand like Jack 10, for it to make a straight, usually requires cards that have like 8s, 7s, you know what I mean? And those usually mean that lows are available. So there is a low available here. We only have an ace and Jack. Could win. It's possible. Nope, 2 pair, and he has the low. So if we'll talk about when we actually make a low, we'll talk about how to actually figure out what a low is, because it's something that I think people that aren't familiar with low games don't get too worried. If you're like, oh my god, what is this, Jay Carver? I need some help here. Don't worry, I'll help you out. No big deal. All right, so not a great flop for us, obviously. Certainly not too happy about it, especially since 20 other cards saw the flop. Just gonna check fold, especially since ace deuce is so commonly played. It's such like, you know, a very identifiably easy good hand. So almost for sure somebody has ace deuce here, and I don't know how everyone decides to call, but I guess it means it's a good game, and we just decide to fold. So there'll be no low available this hand, right? Because there has to be 3 cards below an 8 on the board, and they can't be pairs like this. So no matter what had come on the river, there is only going to be a high hand. So whatever is the nuts right now is going to just win the whole thing. Let's see the winner. Jack's full. Probably gonna do it. I've got a question here I'm very excited to read, because I accidentally wrote on the back of it in a marker, and then I flipped it over and was upset at myself for writing on it Dear Jay Carver, and then I actually read the question and was like, oh, this is a beautiful hand in 08 because it can win both the high and has a very good chance of winning the low, and we're on the button. So these are things we're very happy about. Against these limps, we're going to definitely be raising it up here for straight up value. Straight up value. This hand is like super good 08 hand. At least I believe it is. You know, what does super good mean? It's still pretty small edges, but, you know, pretty happy with it all in all. So we flopped ourselves a low, right? Because we're going to count our 5 low cards. We have 1, 3, 4, 5, 8, right? So we have an ace 3 low. If someone has an ace deuce low, we're in some trouble. We have a gut shot here to a deuce. Certainly can't fold for these $2. I mean, certainly can't fold. I think at a full ring 08 game, if someone were to raise, we would probably just fold. But I think for $2, we can pretty happily call here. No reason to raise. It doesn't accomplish anything. So now the nut low is deuce 3, right? Because deuce 3 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And that's the low as you can get. And right now all we have is ace king and 8, 5, 4, 3 ace, right? That's not a particularly good low. So I think we're actually going to just fold, as crazy as it is. I would think that it's probably not even that crazy. It seems a little unfortunate, but I'm pretty sure, well, we might have won the high with ace king, but I'm pretty sure we were beat on the turn, and it's very possible that we weren't going to win the low, even if there was no counterfeit that hit on board. Let's see if I'm right about that. It would be really sad if we were going to just scoop this pot here, but I would be surprised. Aces and 4s. All right, so ace deuce. He did have the ace deuce low, by the way. So we were not ahead. We were not ahead on the flop, and I forget what that guy had, but we definitely weren't winning by the river. All right, I think that was a relatively reasonably played Omaha 8 or better hand. All in all, we just fold this one. Why do we fold this one? If you're asking yourself that, because it's not a hand that can win the high and the low, right? What kind of flops are we looking for here? First of all, our low is garbage, and our high is really not that good. Let's say it comes Jack 6 deuce. We're only going to win half, right? And we might not even win half, because let's say it turns to 5 and someone has 4-5. We're just garbage, right? So I think that this hand is very clearly trash. That's right. We're learning Omaha 8 or better. It's Omaha 8 or better school. Who would have thought we were doing this today? Definitely not me. But, oh wait, it's pretty cool. It's kind of a fun game. All right, let's read some viewer questions. Dear Jay Carver, points for that, he says. Yes, points for you, sir. That's right. You correctly identified that I was going to give you points. And you can have the points. I'm not even going to, you know, that's it. I'll be a slut and just give away the points. That's right. All right. Dear Jay Carver, I've watched every single video, every single one of your videos in all of its entirety. Wow, that's crazy. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's pretty awesome. Points. Big points. Huge points, actually. And I always hear myself saying, oh my God, that makes, oh, actually I said, OMG. And I always hear myself saying, OMG, that makes so much more sense to a lot of things you say. Thank you. I try to make sense sometimes. I mean, very often I don't make sense and don't try to. But when I do try to, I feel like I usually accomplish that. You feel me, you know? True run-up warriors are like, yeah, we get it. We know. Boy, what a raise on the button there. King, 10, 8. Raise. I don't think that's very good. Mind you, I know nothing, but I mean, not nothing, but, you know, not very much. But I feel like that's pretty bad. You know, again, so you're not going to scoop it. Mike Mattis would not approve of that little raise over there. All right, so your problem is that each time that you realize that everything makes more sense, you feel like you're bringing newly found knowledge to the poker table. My only problem is when I actually do sit down at a table, I feel like everything I've learned from you literally goes out the door. Don't think you know what the word literally means. I get what you mean, though. You know, I'll just say it. The literally thing, you know. Anyway. I'm out of here. Where's the door? Like the other day, you know? That's it. Thanks for watching. This is... That's right, you guys saw a little bit. That's it, I got some words there. What are those words? That's right, everyone wants to know. What are those secret words you wrote on the back? Oh, yeah. They're good words. I'm excited. It's an idea for next week. You guys will like it, I think. Anyway, so, where are you? Oh, right, literally out the door. Mostly because I feel like going through my entire thought process is taking too long, and the pressure of people waiting on my action pushes me to make mistakes. Well, the way you get around that is practice. Right? Practice. Right? That's really what it comes down to. You'll get much better if you practice. How can you practice? Playing on the internet. That's a good way to practice. You can practice by playing in smaller games that make you feel less pressure. Right? That seems like a good idea. Gonna just fold this hand. You know, maybe if we were on the button and it folded to us, we would do something, but, you know, that would still be very marginal. Our jack is just basically, excuse me, a completely worthless card. And I think, generally speaking, in full ring Omaha 8 or better, you really want to start with an ace in your hand. Otherwise, you're pretty much not wanting to get in there. And that definitely doesn't qualify. And especially with a jack, it's just completely, like a complete garbage hand. All right, let's go from there. Also, hopefully I don't remember, or hopefully I don't forget that we won money before at that 1-2 game. We didn't win much money, but we won a little bit of money. We're probably near even right now. Anyway, so my mind is literally all over the place in the middle of a hand. Well, again, practice, right? I can't seem to get my thoughts in order. I've been making a lot of mistakes lately that I otherwise wouldn't have if I had just stayed calm and played my game. So, this is a high hand that is fine to play, right? Because this hand is like super premium. Now, I'm not necessarily sure if it's better to raise or to call with spots like this. It's definitely fine to call, but I'm not necessarily sure if the correct strategy is to limp and see a flop and then decide as to what you should do. Like on flops like this, we're not really too ecstatic. I mean, we have ace king, which might be the best hand, but you know, we're gonna be chopping with any low. I think when it checks to us against two people from the blinds, yeah, from the blinds, that's right. I'm from the blinds, bitch. Against two people from the blinds, I feel like we can bet. But, you know, I got called twice and immediately asked, what do I know? So at this point, I would guess that we don't have the best hand and could definitely just be drawing to half anyway. So I think the jig is up. So your issue is that you're making a lot of mistakes that you otherwise wouldn't have made if I just stayed calm and played my game. I find myself assessing how I should have played the hand after the fact would have either saved me or made me more money. Well, here's the issue, Anonymous. Here is the issue, Anonymous Run-It-Up Warrior. That's what you are. Look at this. We were drawing to half and didn't have the best hand anyway. Ace-5 had us beat. Here's exactly what you should do, okay? Sometimes I give roaming advice. I'm going to tell you exactly what you should do. Here it is. Number 1, play online. Number 2, play smaller stakes if you can and practice your thought process there. But neither of those things are as important as number 3, which is to just simulate thinking about hands. If you're watching poker on TV, hit the pause button. It's 2013. You can do these things. Hit the pause button and say, what would I do here? And now there's no pressure, no pressure. You just sit there and think about it and try to figure it out. Watch my run it up videos when there's a spot coming up and, you're watching me do these things. Before I say anything, pause the video and say, what would I do here? What am I thinking about here? Like, you have access to the exact same information that I have, right? I mean, almost always. So if that's the case, then all of the puzzle pieces are there for you to watch me put together after you try to put them together. And not certainly on Run It Up, we're not talking about every single hand in depth, so that's not necessarily always the case. But I'm always making my best effort at a good decision, right? I mean, almost always. So if that's the case, then you should be able to kind of construct, what compare what I did to what you wanted to do and go from there. Again, just going to call. This time I feel quite confident that this is okay to call versus raising, at least. The hand's not phenomenal because it's not a suited ace, but we have so many little baby cards that seems like a hand that is quite capable of scooping to me. So we call. Let's call. So the other thing that I would tell you to do, besides just studying properly and practicing that thought process, look at that little flop. It's not a great flop for us in the high version, but it's a very good flop for us in the low version because of the fact that we are going to almost for sure win half the pot no matter what comes on the turn and or river. 4, 5, ace, oh great. 6, all these cards make us a high and a low hand. 9 of hearts, not quite going to cut it. I think we turn into check calling mode now. The clock strikes midnight and we turn to check call mode. Better hands never fold. Worse hands never call. Or, yeah, worse hands don't exist, I think is the issue. Call me with your king, queen. I don't know what voice that was. It sounded kind of like Dracula-esque. But anyway. So here we are on the river with a very sad run out for ace and deuce and 5 and 4. So unfortunately we didn't make a low, didn't make a straight, didn't even make 2 pair or anything like that. And we have 2 pair, but didn't make much better than that. I don't think this guy is going to be bluffing here often enough. Like, what kind of hands are bluffing? Like, he has to have like ace 4, brick. You know what I mean? Ace 5, brick. For him to win this pot. Does that happen often enough? It actually probably does happen enough. But do people bluff at this limit? Probably not, right? Probably not. That would be a crazy bluff. Somebody is just like, I'm going to get this J. Carver fucker. That's right. I'm going to bluff the shoes off this guy. Get out of here, J. Carver. Put you in the fucking cage. How do you like it? Yeah, that's right. Could happen, but, doubt it. The origins of that voice, by the way? I think. I'm not 100% on this, but I think the origins of that voice were my friend was playing, one of my best friends was playing a live Magic the Gathering, and this only really works if you know Magic, I guess. If you don't know Magic, you won't really get it, I guess. But there was like a very simple standard action, like my friend tapped a bunch of lands and played as something. It wasn't anything exciting. It was just like, I don't remember what it was. He played some sort of like a instant or whatever. It doesn't make a difference if you don't know Magic. And his opponent would consistently throughout the match go, can't contest, if he couldn't do anything. And that was just hilarious to everyone. So that's that voice. I think that's the origins of that voice. So now you know. A little bit of behind the scenes action. So yeah, the other thing I was telling to this fella here, who I've been answering for forever now, is that you want to make sure that if you have poker friends that are either in your area or that online or whatever it is, you want to be talking with them a lot too, right? Because they'll walk you through a hand and you can think, well, what I would have done here, and then you can talk through them and they can kind of be your testing grounds, right? So you say, hey, Solomon, I got this hand for you, and he goes, yeah, sure, what's up? And you say, well, I raised ace queen, and somebody re-raised, and then I called, and flop came jack 10 4, and I checked, and he bet, and I didn't know what to do, but I check raised, and he called, and having someone that can listen to you and be like, what? wait, what did you do? Why did you do that? And why did you make it? What I don't understand. Having someone that can kind of question your thought process and kind of like generally just test you. Look at that discipline, by the way. For $1, I said no thank you. $1, I said no thank you. That is some Omaha 8 or better discipline. Anyway, so I think that kind of thing is really good. Have someone you can run things by. That for me was a huge help. Like if I didn't have the people that I had to learn poker with through friendly conversation, who knows where I'd be right now? I'd still be on Long Island, you know, doing who knows what, being up to all sorts of nonsense. You don't even know. All right, I'd probably just be playing video games in my underwear on Long Island right now. That's the truth of it. But, you know, it could be worse. You don't know for sure. All right. Anyway, did you actually ask another question besides how do you help? What advice do you have that would help me stay calm when the action is on me? Literally just practice and experience, right? Literally practice and experience. If you feel like you know it all, it's just a matter of like organizing it in your head so that you can consistently construct the thought process that you need. You guys like this? That was kind of cool, right? I don't like being in the bottom left. I don't understand. I know I have to be because it's full ring, but you know, I don't really love it. Anyway, back to constructing things. I think that's really important for your general thought process. I'm still playing with my like interlocking fingers like a 2-year-old. Anyway, I hope that helped. Thanks for your question. I feel like you know, if you feel like you get it, but you haven't just put it all together, you will get it. Practice, study. It's just literally a matter of getting your brain trained to process these things, right? You can't be expected to don't consider it a failure of yours that you're not able to execute the strategies yet. You know, like I've been doing this for 10 years. 10 years, and like half of those years poker was all I did all the time, so it's of course like natural for me to do these things. But if you're just starting or do other things with your life, for example, like, you know, I think that don't be so hard on yourself. You know, just work hard, study, practice, you'll be fine. Drink some water. We need to get some like water sponsor, you know, like brought to you by Aquafina. Drink up. You know, be like Jay Carver, drink water. Can definitely call here, you know, we got kings and 4s. We're set drilling machine over here. We've come extra ready to do the set drilling, and now the party is over. We've put in our $2 and now it's gone. Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened here. We tried and failed. We'll not be calling here. Checking seems fine, I guess. I mean, it's possible we have the best hand, but, you know, if we do have the best hand in terms of, like, kings are the best hand right now, and somehow no one has a low, there's just no way that naked kings here against, how many cards is this? 8, 16, 24 cards. Half of the deck is being played against us right now. 2 kings are not likely to be the best hand, or if they are, it's by such a narrow margin, it's unbelievable. In Omaha 8 or better, you know, if this was even Omaha high only, kings would not be looking too good on this flop. Never mind 8 or better. So, out with the kings they go. But what were we just talking about? Focus, right? Just focus. Oh yeah, water. Aquafina. That's right. Brought to you by Aquafina. No. I don't really feel like reading a question right now. You know, I was gonna read a question, but you know, I'm not in the mood this right minute. Not at the moment. That's right. Asian ravioli. That's right. Minus the P. No PLO 8. Just low 8. So this hand looks pretty, right? Oh, let's play this hand, Jay Carver. Someone was sleeping and is really mad right now. Someone's like, oh, it's just Jay Carver making noise. Yep, not a good hand. It looks like a good hand, but it's not a good hand. Oh, that's right. Asian Ravioli, the heads up sit and go champion viewer against us. That's right. Let's do a low camera angle. Let's do a low camera angle lean back. That's what I'm in the mood for right now. You know, it's Friday. It's been a long run it up week. We have ran it up pretty well. 1883. That's pretty sweet. You know, we've done some work over here. You know, we gotta win this video though. We need to win this video. I refuse to lose. You know, we won. What did we win before? Like 20 bucks, something like that. 18 and change. I'll check later. We won like 18 and change, and now here we are, down a little bit of money. We need to win. We need to win. I need it. I want it. Can't live without it. I feel like I have. Well, let's talk about something personally near and dear to my heart. The end of the League of Legends season comes up quite soon from now, and I have 65 points or around there in my silver 1. So the tier that I'm trying to breach into is very close. Victory is almost at hand here, and I'm quite excited about that. I actually feel like I've been talking about it for a while, but I've been studying League of Legends enough now that I actually think that I'm able to make like a competently commentated video. I've been like really trying to like improve. And I feel like, because I really wanted to make the gold, which I'm very close to. So I think I actually might try to make a video like that. And I think it could be amusing. I think it'll be funny. I, of course, would be Caitlyn Sheriff Caitlyn. You know, that's just, I always play Caitlyn. And, you know, Sheriff Caitlyn, of course. So it could be fun. We do like a nerded up. I'm convincing myself that it wouldn't be the worst thing to at least try to cast that. So you guys might see that like a little bonus video sometime soon. All right. I guess we'll pull a question. Oh, your question was actually kind of interesting. I barely flashed by it, but I'll answer this little grinder. There's a lot of words here, and but your topic is interesting, so we'll talk about it. I have some things to say about your topic. The topic is gambling problems? That's right. Gambling problems? Dear Jay Carver, do you know anyone who has or had a serious gambling problem and has been able to overcome it to become successful at poker? Well, the short answer is I have not known someone who had a serious gambling problem who then overcame it and became successful at poker after that. I can't say I know anybody who has done that. However, I've known plenty of professional poker players who have had massive gambling problems. All right, I'll sit up a little bit. Who have had massive gambling problems, right? There are plenty of stories that I will be so happy to tell in like 15 years from now. But for the time being, people will have to remain anonymous. However, there are so many stories in poker. All right, there's a particular story in poker. And the line between like sick degen legend and the complete out of control needs help is very thin in a lot of these cases. XZ, that's right. So there's a story about a World Poker Tour champion who won quite a lot of money in one day in a tournament and then lost it all that night at Baccarat. And there are plenty of people who have that story. Like that story is common in poker. It's relatively common. It's certainly not like massively uncommon, that's for sure. Plenty of people will lose their money in the pit in high stakes games that they should never be in. In backing, oh my God, talk about losing money in backing. So many times in my life, I would have no money and then back someone and then have even less money. So stupid, but it happened a lot to me. It requires just education. You know, like money management. One of my best, actually, my true actual best friend just talked to me the other day about how like shocked he is. Pretty good river card for us. You know, we probably win the high and we have a decent low. I think it makes more sense to bet than to check, right? What are the worst hands that will call us? Two pair, worst lows, doubtful, right? There's not too many worst lows here. You know, like deuce 8, you know. We lose to ace deuce, ace 3, Probably getting half here. Scoop! That's right. I've been waiting for that one. I've been waiting for that one. We've been waiting a long time to win a pot here at Limit Omaha, 8 or better. It's a game of patience and discipline. Only for the not meek of heart. That's right. Anyway. So, yeah. I think that, you know, there have been plenty of poker players who have been successful and then not managed their money well. And one of my very best friends... This guy posted, by the way, which makes me feel like we can raise and play this profitably because we can probably push out this guy and probably push out this guy. I tapped the screen like it was like an iPad. We can probably push out this guy and just get a heads up. Maybe even the big blind. Look how great this is. We put in $4. Our hand's pretty shite, but you know, these we're gonna get $5 in the overlay. It's great. All right, maybe not 5, but still a pretty decent amount of overlay. The Ronald Lumpkin is dead, my friend. It's gone. It's in the trash dispenser. Anyway, the point that I was making here, which I'll start here with a bet because very likely these people just have low hands or something that isn't too connected with this, and I'd be fine to bet for protection / I guess a tiny amount of value. Not much value, of course. A little bit of value though. Probably done with betting unless turn card is Jack. You know. King 10 is probably not the best hand here, given that 2 people called this. You know what I mean? I mean, it's possible that they both just have like Jack 10 or King, Queen, Jack 10, something like that. Weird that this guy just folded. You know, I just find it kind of hard to believe that this guy has, what, Ace, Deuce, Jack 10? That's like the only hand we're like really ahead of. Everything else is kind of crushing us. All right. I guess we just fold. I don't know about that. I think that's fine because he posted and I thought we could push the blinds out. So we're going to get to play a bigger pot. We're going to get to play a pot in position. Even though our hand was kind of bad, we got a nice little amount of overlay there. And that we'll win that often enough that it's okay. Anyway. So the point that I was trying to make is that my friend who's never really had any like tremendously huge scores said to me like, man, there was a particular person that he interacted with. And he was like, dude, it's so crazy that my friend, have never had any like enormous scores, and there are these guys that have had $1 million scores and now are, you know, have no money. And it's definitely true. Money management is like the most important skill in poker that nobody ever really tries to teach anybody. It's true. I'll tell you even this story, and I think I've told this story before, but I'll tell it to you guys again in case you're a new viewer or haven't watched all the episodes. There is back a couple of years ago for me, when I was the very first time that I ever had $1 million to my name. I was hanging out at Daniel Negreanu's house, and I was like feeling good. I was feeling myself a little bit. I was like, I said, I got $1 million fucking dollars. I'm in the catbird seat over here. You know, that's where we are. And I remember, you know, I remember telling Daniel, you know, we were talking about poker tournaments and stuff like that, and I remember telling him that I was going to take all my own action for everything going forward. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to gamble it up now. I've got $1 million. I'll be fine. And at first he was like, all right, cool, that makes sense. And then he said, whoa, is this the first time that you had $1 million? And I was like, yes. And he laughed and said, you'll be broke. You'll be broke again. And I didn't quite get to broke, but I definitely lost most of that $1 million, you know? Hey, you got to learn somehow to hold on to money. And I did. I learned that time. And now I won't do that again the next time. Like, you know, the next time I have $1 million just sitting around, I know what to do now. And I know what not to do. You have to learn these things in poker. So, boy, this question has been very roundabout. And to bring back to your question, which is true gambling problems, if you have an actual gambling problem and you're not already successful in poker, I would not recommend playing poker professionally, and I would not recommend getting into poker. It can be so destructive, man. Like, I would definitely caution against it. So what you wrote here is, what it comes down to is that this writer is terrible at handling his losses and always feels the need to chase losses at blackjack. Yep, these are not good things for a professional gambler, that's for sure. So in this particular instance, I mean, we have aces, so it's hard for someone to have. I mean, I guess not that hard people to have aces. And we have, we don't have a low, right? Because we're playing ace deuce, and what low do we have? That's not a low. We have a pair of deuces if we're playing ace deuce, deuce 3-5, right? So we don't have a low yet. Maybe I should have just checked and folded. Actually, that probably may have been better. This might have been a giveaway of $2 here. But I thought maybe not, but it might have been. It can't be too bad because we're probably ahead on the high. Right? What do these guys all have? What are you guys doing here that you all have that you're just calling with? Probably not too much. They probably have like bad lows, straight draws, flush draws. And at this point, okay. This might be a $4 giveaway here. This might be a $4 giveaway here. I mean, against the raise. I mean, it's just over, right? We're just done with it. Best case scenario, river of 4, and, glad to see the old tenor hit the river. That was probably a bad turn bet, and probably a bad flop bet, actually, now that I think about it. Hey, we gotta learn together somehow, some way. That's it. We're co-learning these things. I'm not the professor anymore. I'm the learner. We're learning together. Yeah, there is no way we were winning this hand. I can't imagine. Wheel. Just nuts. Nut. You got it. Well, not nut, but near nut. Anyway, so your question, which is relatively serious, actually. I don't know if you'll understand this, but even on certain days when I hope you, by the way, know that I was going to read this. I hope you didn't write me like a personal thing. There's no way to know for sure whether or not you did or did not know that, but hopefully you did. I won't read your name either way. So just to be safe. Anyway, so I don't know if you'll understand this, but even on certain days when I've reset, so to say, and not thinking about past losses, I play blackjack and enjoy it until I inevitably lose it all. One of the first pieces of poker literature I read many years ago had a line in the first chapter that was along the lines of, successful poker players don't like to gamble, and if you have a gambling problem, quit now, or you will face a long life of despair until you do. I don't super disagree with that. As long as you can focus on poker. There are many people that have gambling problems that channel that energy into poker, and then it's not really, a problem. Like, I have had so many relationships with people who have been like, are you addicted to gambling? And then it's like, I don't know it's just like a question that for someone like me is just like bafflingly crazy. Like, it's just like, what? I don't understand your question. This is a major discipline fold here. This is some discipline fold here. That might even be too tight, but, discipline fold. Anyway, so, I think that with people that don't, okay, so let's talk about this one angle at a time here. The angle from, if you're someone who isn't, if you're for sure successful at poker, like for sure you're a winning poker player, you need to stop playing non-poker games, right? If you can't control your gambling, you're just giving it away, right? You're just losing, if you can channel those urges positively, which, to be honest, most people probably can't, and just play poker, then that's great, and you should go ahead and do that. But otherwise, man, it's a serious thing. Like, it's not a joke, and you should definitely seriously consider your options when it comes to everything. When it comes to like that stuff, like, but, I guess we've talked about quite a bunch of different things when it's come to this, like, for all of the joking around with it. And I've said many times that, in college, one of my best friends said, one of my best friends, Leo Walpert, said they used to think that I was a college student with a gambling problem, but it turned out I was a gambler with a college problem. Like, you got to be careful with things like that, because even though I myself feel like that was true about me, and it was definitely true about him, you got to be careful with that, because there are lots of stories that end in disaster. And to be a seriously successful poker player, you really need to be smart about it, man, and really like think about all your options, and think about, I don't know, you got to make sure you really take it seriously, treat it like a business, and it's tough. It's tough. It's not an easy life, no matter who tells you otherwise. And anybody that can be successful at poker can be successful doing other things. You have to really, really love it, and have not really too many life leaks. You know, I mean, all my non-poker gambling came after years and years and years of being successful at poker. You know, not counting backing, which came too soon, unfortunately. But even that, like, there are so many things that can just be little holes in the boat. And if your boat isn't strong enough to survive those holes, you're not going to win. You know, you're not going to win. You're not going to be happy. Anyway, talk about bumming people out, right? Talk about bumming people out. You know, we're really depressing the UK fans now. Anyway, so I'm sorry I didn't really give you any great advice, and it really comes down to you. You know, it really comes down to you and how you think you can handle it, and you know, you got to know yourself and know your limits, and really try to, you know, you're the boss of you, and you know, you really gotta be aware of all those things. Anyway, let's switch to full screen. Let's do a full screen closeout. Anyway, so we lost some money today, but not that much money today. We lost $31 just about at Omaha 8 or better, and we managed to win about $15 or so at No Limit. So we ended up losing like $16 here or something like that. No big deal. Did the heater continue? No, it didn't, but we didn't really play a normal poker game. We played, you know, 08, which is not exactly in the wheelhouse. But we'll be back running it up next week. Let me know what you guys thought about this week. 5 run-it-ups, and they were actually some of the best run-it-ups I think we've ever done. I think there were, every video this week from Monday through Friday felt like it was awesome. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully you did as well. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/jcarverpoker. All the cool run-it-up stuff is happening there. And if you want to be a part of that, come join us. It'll be fun, I promise. Don't forget that picture is also on Facebook, so you should really go check that out. There's also a link in the description below to my Facebook page if you're too lazy to do the whole writing as I talk thing. That's fine. I don't mind. I wouldn't do that either. So anyway, hope you guys have a nice little weekend. I will see you back for more on Monday. Some cool things in store for next week, although 5 run-it-ups a week, also not the worst. Thanks so much, guys, as always. I appreciate you hanging out with me, as always, and tolerating, you know, all the silliness. I will see you guys back for more on Monday. Have a nice weekend. Thanks for watching. Peace.